Hi guys, my name's Daniel. I'm a brakeman with the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad.
And Ron's Changing Things starts right now. Hi, I'm Ron of Ron's Changing Things. If you'd like to see more videos about model railroading tips, tools, and techniques, be sure to subscribe down below and hit that bell icon so you can catch every episode. Today I'm bringing you something very exciting. I'm here in Silverton, Colorado, and I'm sharing with you my trip today on the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railway. You'll get to see all three of the steam locomotives that ran today, as well as some footage from my trip from Durango to here in Silverton and back. It's going to be an exciting day with lots of steam action, so let's get started. This summer, my extended family vacationed in western Colorado in celebration of my mother and father-in-law's 50th wedding anniversary. As part of that vacation, we took a round-trip ride on the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad. We would be riding the third train of that day, but I decided to go early and catch some video of steam action around the Durango depot. I arrived to find the depot already bustling with activity in anticipation of the first train's departure. In search of some locomotive action, I made my way through the old roundhouse museum, where I found K27 number 478. This caught my attention as it was the locomotive that had pulled the train that my family had ridden a decade before. Here's a picture of my then 8-year-old son with number 478 in Silverton, and a picture of him with our locomotive today in the same spot on this trip. I was able to see through an open window in the working part of the roundhouse from a public walkway and caught the crew doing a routine boiler cleaning and inspection of number 486. Then it was back out to the yard where I caught the locomotive for the first train of the day coming to couple to her train. It was K36 number 482. It would be an all K36 roster today, as numbers 480 and 481 would round out the schedule. After that, it wouldn't be long until the crew was ready. The blue sign was removed, and number 482 would pull her train out of the station heading north to Silverton. A helpful crew member directed me to the employees' entrance where I could stand just outside the gate in the backyard just across from the roundhouse and see number 480 and 481 as they were being prepped and doing their final blowdown before their own excursions today. I made it back to the depot just in time to see 480 pulling out of the station with her train in tow. With the second train of the day underway, soon it would be time for me to board my own train to Silverton, but not before I caught our own locomotive, number 481, emerging from the yard and coupling to our own cut of passenger cars. With that, I would join my family in our open gondola and settle in for departure. Before we knew it, we were pulling out of the station and heading for the high country of the San Juan Mountains. As we left, we got a warm goodbye from the Durango and Silverton staff. Now we were turning north through the city of Durango and starting up the grade through the beautiful valley of the lower Animas River. We finally made it to the High Line, the most famous and photographed section of the entire line. Here the tracks cling to the side of the mountain high above the roaring rapid of the Rio Animas below. The steep cliffs on the right were balanced by hugging rocks on the left. At times they are so close to your train that you can literally reach out and touch them. Soon the Rio Animas far below would catch up to our altitude, and we would be meandering along its banks for the remainder of the journey. Pulling up grade is hard work, and number 481 had to make a quick stop for a 4,000-gallon drink of water. This old water tank feeds locomotives no more, but is a reminder of a bygone era in railroading. Now the river was getting much narrower, though no less swift, as we approached its headwaters. This was a sign that Silverton and a much-desired lunch was not too much further up the line. As we pulled into Silverton, we found number 482 already backed into the Y and ready to turn for her return trip south to Durango. We caught a look at some old rolling stock parked just ahead of the depot, as well as some onlookers welcoming us to town. As we swung left onto 12th Street, we were greeted by number 480 at the ready and awaiting the return of her passengers for her own return trip.
So two others.
Rain had set in by the time our layover in Silverton ended. It would be a damp trip periodically as we made our way back down the grade. The rain didn't dampen the spirits of the crew, however. Making our water stop on the return trip, they competed throwing coal across the river. With a full tender of water, the crew were called back and we awaited the signal of the conductor and were back underway. The damp conditions actually made for some interesting views as low-lying clouds hung in the mountain valleys and rain dripped from every tree branch. We caught some more old rolling stock on a siding as we stopped to pick up some rafters after an adventurous day on the Rio Animas. It wouldn't do to be afraid of heights as you approach the High Line. It is hundreds of feet down to the river valley below. We returned to the depot in Durango just in time to see number 11, a GE 98-tonner, switching cars from the earlier trains. One last trip to the roundhouse found number 482 resting after a long, hard day's work. Despite the rain, it had been a great day on the Durango and Silverton, a day I would readily repeat. The Society of American Travel Writers named the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad as third in the world and first in the U.S. in its list of the top 10 most exciting and scenic train rides in the world. And TheCultureTrip.com named it in their list of the 11 most astonishing train rides in the world. If you get the opportunity, a ride on the Durango and Silverton is absolutely a must. It's worth your time. It's worth going a little bit out of your way. It's definitely worth the price of a round-trip ticket. My family absolutely loved the day. My immediate family, it was our second trip on the Durango and Silverton. And even with a little bit of rain that we had in the afternoon, it was still a beautiful trip in both directions. So again, if you haven't ridden the Durango and Silverton, you definitely want to put it on your bucket list. Thanks for watching my video today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up down below. Be sure to leave me a comment or a question down at the bottom of the page. I love to hear from you, and I always respond to your comments. Be sure and check out that expanded description right below this video. There you'll find my Amazon pick of the week. There might be something there that you would find interesting. And I also hope you'll take a little time to check out my brand new Patreon page. I've been a Patreon member for several weeks, but I just updated my page with some great new rewards and incentives for those who are interested in supporting Ron's Trains and Things, so I hope you'll go take a look. If you found this video interesting and enjoyable, I hope you'll share it on your social media and model railroad or rail fan forums that you participate in so others can enjoy this and other videos on my channel as well. Be sure and keep watching the next couple of weeks, as I'm going to be releasing details about my new monthly live stream I'm going to be starting in September. You'll want to watch for the dates and times of that. Be sure and join me on Tuesday for my next model building segment. You'll want to catch that video, so be sure and join me on Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you then. Busy?